Hi, everybody. My name is Caesar.
And I'm Martha.
And welcome back to the 31st episode of In Our Wide Screen, where
Two idiots who know nothing about movies talk about movies.
it is been a little bit since the last episode, so I almost forgot how to start that off. But
How to start, yes.
I missed this. So we didn't record last week because we were just both very busy. I missed this. I was like, it felt weird not doing it for a week. I was like, there's something this week.
Yeah,
I forgot to do.
Exactly. I know exactly what you mean. I just felt like I was forgetting something the whole week.
Yeah.
But it was nice to take a breather, I suppose.
Yeah, sometimes it's needed for sure.
Yeah. Although it wasn't much of a breather because I was still extremely busy with everything else, but this
is one less thing. Yeah.
In theory.
Yeah,
it was
right.
a pause.
But we are back now, and of course, now that we're being back, we got to start off with this, Martha. Okay. What moves faster, heat or cold?
What moves faster?
Mm-hmm.
Heat or cold?
Yes.
Well, I mean, it doesn't. I mean, like it heat like rises and but it doesn't necessarily move per se.
Well, rising is a form of movement, is it not?
I suppose, but not. But
it
also,
is. You're just being technical.
Although I don't like the way that you phrase the question, heat and cold.
Or
because
cold, I said.
Yeah, I know, but those two aren't quite the antonyms of one another.
I didn't say they were. I'm just asking about two things.
Yeah, I know, but you asked about them, but it sounds like they're two different things. But we're talking about
I feel the heat or I feel the cold. You don't, or the free. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's heat or cold. Is the question? Just answer the question.
Heat or cold? Okay.
What moves faster?
Neither.
Why is that?
Because science.
So actually, the answer is heat because you can always catch a cold.
Well, that was stupid. And I knew it was the wording. It was the wording there. I told you there was a difference between the heat and the cold because those two are not.
Well, there obviously is a difference between heat and cold.
You would have said hot and cold.
Well, you don't say the hot. You don't call it the hot.
Yeah, but you also don't call it the cold.
I feel the cold.
Yeah, I know, but there's a heat outside. You don't say that there's a cold outside. You know? It'd be like it's colder outside, or there is a chill outside, but you wouldn't say the cold and the heat.
Well, either way, you didn't. I gave you the parameters in that question, and you still didn't answer it correctly. So that's on you. It's not on me. Whatever. Anyway, so obviously that was a great start to our show. Is this your first time watching or listening? Thank you. Definitely check out our YouTube channel, subscribe to it, comment, and also follow us on all the podcasting networks, Spotify and Apple. Leave a review for sure. Will definitely help us, know what we're doing good, what we can do better with, all that kind of stuff. Because we're still pretty young. We're only 31 episodes
We're
in.
only 31,
We're only 31, exactly.
We're young, we're just trying to figure out our lives and the world around us. So,
too. Yeah, that's always going to be happening for sure. But
got
so... What you say?
I said we got real deep about our age.
Oh, wait for a second. We got a little philosophical. So considering that we've been gone for another week or so, I mean, how's your time been? What you been up to? You watch anything or?
I did watch an extra movie. It was 2 weeks ago though.
Okay.
But
busy.
I did see it, and you saw it with me.
I was just thinking, I was like, was it probably the one I went to go see with you?
It is The French Dispatch.
Yes.
I absolutely loved it. Pure serotonin was that movie. I was in the theater and I was smiling like a fool the whole time. I loved it so much.
Marie and I could not tell because you were wearing. I mean, we were wearing our masks.
Yeah, we were masks the whole time, but the whole time I was just I loved it. I loved it so much. It was great.
That's good. Yeah. Yeah, at least for me, I saw it with you and my girlfriend too, and we were kind of just like, by the end, and you're like, I adored this. You're like, I wish we felt the same way, but
Yeah,
I get
no,
why you feel
definitely.
that way. Like, there's definitely a lot of, yeah, there's a lot of energy and style
I mean,
throughout
I
it
love
all.
Wes Anderson.
Yeah.
He can do no wrong in my book. So,
What's your favorite of his? Would you say?
Honestly, Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Oh no, it's good.
I love that movie so
Well,
much. I could watch it
I
a
definitely
thousand
want to do an
times.
episode on that. Yeah,
Oh yeah, for
it's a good
sure.
one. My favorite would be Grand Budapest Hotel. Have you seen that one?
Yes. Oh, that's a
Yes,
good one, too.
that's my favorite.
Yeah.
Which yeah, I mean, I think that's one of his most popular at this point. But no, this one, I don't want to say I disliked it, but I don't know. I guess the movie doesn't really have a sense of story or character, which is fine, like overall. But I guess when I'm watching a movie, I kind of want one of those things. And since it
Okay.
didn't really have either, I was just kind of like, but it was still like, there's still a lot there to enjoy. You know what I mean? I liked how the three stories are broken up. I would probably say my favorite story was the one, I think it was the middle one with Timothy Chalamet and, yeah,
No,
that was
but
probably my
the-
favorite.
yeah.
What was your favorite one?
I think I liked the art one
Oh, the first one.
in the prison. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
I liked
yeah.
that one. But I also liked.
I mean, they're all
the-
good. I mean, yeah, they
the
all
food.
have good.
Yeah, I
moments
mean, I
in
really
there.
loved all of them. They all had great elements
Yeah.
to it. But yeah, I mean, I
Okay.
really enjoyed it.
Yeah, that was actually no. I was going to say that's the first time I saw one of his movies in theaters, but I did see Isle of Dogs in theaters too.
Did I see it? Actually, I saw Isle of Dogs on an airplane.
Oh, you did.
That was
Very,
fun.
very much like a theater experience, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. So, anything else you watched? Or that was it. That was. I mean, you've been busy. I mean, I get it. I mean, we
Yeah.
both been.
That just happened to be it.
Okay.
Unfortunately, but
All right. I actually have been able to squeeze in a little bit these last couple of weeks. Not too much, but the day before that, actually, I don't know if I mentioned it on here already or not, but I saw Last Night in Soho in theaters. I really enjoyed it. It was very, very good. Like, pretty sure this Edgar Wright's like first time with horror, unless you count Shaun of the Dead. But like, I just thought it was really cool. A lot of style into it. Definitely like touches on, I guess, nostalgia and like how we tend to romanticize it, and kind of
Okay.
still like enjoy, like appreciate the great things about that time, but also acknowledge like there's a lot of bad shit that happened back then.
Okay.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, I think it does a pretty cool job at doing all that. So I enjoyed it. So I would recommend that one. What else did I watch? After French Dispatch. So I want to see No Time to Die, that Bond movie that came out a few weeks ago.
Okay.
But I hadn't seen any of the other ones, like the ones with Daniel Craig. So
Yeah.
I did watch Casino Royale, and I really liked it. Have you seen any of those?
I
Like
have
Casino
not
Royale or
seen
Skyfall
any
or
of.
anything?
I have not seen any of his. No.
Okay. I think you would really like Casino Royale for sure. I thought it was a lot of fun.
I think the only Bond movie I saw was with Pierce Brosnan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think those are the only ones I've seen.
The only ones.
But it's been a while, so.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
haven't. Yeah, I haven't seen any of them, but so I saw that one. I did go see Eternals in theaters as well. That was good. It was pretty good. I
I wanna see
definitely
that
have
once.
been so surprised at how. So it's officially on Rotten Tomatoes the lowest rated Marvel movie, like our MCU movie. It's at 48%. The last I heard.
Really?
But the audience score is pretty solid, and the box office has been pretty solid. So I think people that are seeing it do like it, but it is definitely different. Like, it's definitely slower than other Marvel movies.
Yeah.
It's a little bit. I mean, it feels like a Marvel movie still, but it does have like a different approach to it. But there was a lot of it I did enjoy, I would say.
That's what I'm expecting from it, though. Like, I'm going to
Yeah.
go into it with that mindset that it's not a Marvel movie, but it
Well, it
is,
is,
but it's
I mean,
like,
it
it's
definitely
different.
also, yeah. I mean, it definitely also kind of increases the world of the MCU, I guess. Like, if you think there's so much going on already, it's like a whole nother level to it that you're not really expecting.
Yeah.
Post-credit scenes were also very good. I enjoyed those.
Okay. Cool.
And yeah, so I mean, I don't know if you've seen Nomadland. It won Best Picture last year, but it's the same director, Chloe Zhao, and that movie
Yeah.
is very much kind of a slow one that kind of takes its time, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So this kind of has the same. I mean, I'm not saying it's like a boring movie, but it's definitely
just
it's
slower
not.
paced.
It's not like a
Okay.
quick kind of. No, you know what I mean? Yeah. So just think of that going in. I think you'll find a lot to like.
All right. Yeah,
for
I still
sure.
want to watch it. I like all the actors in it, and I've heard
It's a great
some good
cast.
things. I've heard great things about the soundtrack, so
Okay.
I'm
I will
excited
say,
about that.
yeah. No, the cast is great. It's I mean, definitely, I think the most diverse cast I've probably ever seen in a superhero movie.
Oh, okay,
Which
that's
is
nice.
really cool.
That's nice.
So
Yeah.
you'll find a lot there. And then I saw, right now, a lot of people are considering this the best picture frontrunner for next year. It's called Belfast. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Belfast. That sounds familiar.
It's a black and white. It's shot in black and white, set in Ireland.
Yes, that's the
Oh,
one
you've
I
seen-
want to see. I
Oh,
want to see
okay.
it so bad.
It was pretty
'Cause
good. I liked a lot of it as well. It's like a, I don't know. It's just kind of a sweet movie. Like, I don't know. I was just, by the end of it, I was just smiling. I was like,
Okay,
it's a fun
I'm
movie.
really excited to watch it because
Yeah.
I'm Irish and I like.
And the way it's
got a
shot
great
looks
Irish
great.
accent.
Oh yeah, you're gonna love the Ireland. Whole movies
Give
in
me
Ireland. It's all.
Give
it's
me
all-
anything with an Irish accent
Yes.
and I'm happy. So
I will say with the Irish accents, I mean, obviously they're in Ireland, so it's pretty strong. So I did miss some dialogue here and there.
Oh,
but
I've got a great Irish accent, so I can decipher it really easily.
Yeah, you won't have a problem.
Won't
But
have a problem
yeah,
there.
I would recommend that. Definitely gonna be in the awards conversation next year. So if you want to keep up with that, then I would definitely also check it out as well.
Definitely watching that. Okay, cool.
But other than that, yeah, that's pretty much it. So, well, more than just one movie. So,
Yeah, okay, you know what?
but still, like I remember a few months ago, I used to be able to watch so many more than even right now I'm capable of. So even though I'm watching like a handful, it's like for me,
Yeah.
still that's not a lot.
Yeah, no, I used to be able to watch several movies throughout the week, and I have.
Yeah.
I'm at the end of my college career, so I don't have time to do
you're getting,
anything,
yeah,
so.
yeah, you're getting there exactly. And definitely once we hit December and our semester ends, I mean, you'll probably have more time to.
Yeah,
be
I'll
doing
probably
that.
have. Hopefully,
Yeah, yeah.
it'll probably
It'll
be
be-
mostly Christmas movies, but
But that's still it's joyful.
it still works.
Joyful
It
scene,
still works.
exactly.
Exactly.
All right. Well,
On to
I'm trying
our
to think
movie.
of I'm trying to think of a segue into the movie. I couldn't think of one.
You should be direct.
As you can see in the background. All right. Well, We're the Millers is the movie we were talking about this week. Just to start this off, why my notes? Why are they gone? Oh no, wait. Okay, here we are.
They
So We're the
disappeared.
Millers, directed by Ross and Marshall Thurber. He directed before this came out the movie Dodgeball with Vince Vaughn and Ben Stiller. You know that one?
Yeah, no, I know that one.
Okay. After this, directed Central Intelligence.
Oh,
It's the
that's the one with Melissa
Kevin
McCarthy.
Hart.
Oh.
No. You're
Yeah,
thinking,
okay, no, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I'm
Were you
thinking
thinking?
Spy.
There's one called Super Intelligence. Is that the one you were thinking about?
No, I'm thinking Spy. I think.
Oh, Spy. Yeah, that's a good one.
yeah. No, it wasn't. But yeah.
Okay. Central Intelligence, the one with The Rock and Kevin Hart. Then he did Skyscraper, another movie with The Rock. Kind of look like Die Hard kind of thing. I didn't see it.
Okay.
And then he directed a movie called Red Notice, which just came out on Netflix.
Oh, and I almost watched that this week. I just got
You didn't?
like
I haven't
I
seen
lost
it
track
yet.
of time, so I didn't get time.
So honestly, this is part of why I suggested We're the Millers, because I was like, okay, well, he has a movie coming out. I was like, let's just talk about one of his older ones. So yeah, Red Notice just came out with The Rock and Ryan Reynolds and Gal Gadot.
Godot.
I don't know. I just need
don't
to look up
know.
an interview or something. That's how I always do actually when I need to say someone's name and I don't know how to say it. I like look up in an interview
The
because they'll normally introduce themselves or the person will introduce them. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
got it. Haven't done that for her though, but
One day. Yeah,
Anyway,
well, my dad saw it. He said it was really good. So
oh, okay. I heard some people say they really liked it. I heard some people say it was pretty bad. So I'm kind of curious to see.
yeah, my dad usually doesn't have very good taste in movies. So take that
Oh.
with a grain of salt. That's all I got to say about that. So
There we go. So this stars Jennifer Aniston, Jason Sudeikis, Emma Roberts, Will Poulter, Nick Offerman, Catherine Hahn, Ed Helms. Fucking funny cast. Like, love all these people.
hilarious. I love the cast.
This was released August 7th, 2013. This is an 8-year-old movie already. I did not realize
Wow.
how long ago that was. $37 million budget, made $270 million worldwide. And the synopsis reads, a veteran pot dealer creates a fake family as part of his plan to move a huge shipment of weed into the U.S. from Mexico.
Wow.
It's pretty simple synopsis, but that is what
Very
that is
simple.
the movie.
It is effective.
It is
Yes.
effective synopsis. I first saw this movie actually last year during COVID.
Oh.
Marie recommended it to me. I was like, "Have you seen this?" I was like, "No, like I've heard about it throughout the years, and I know people liked it, but I never actually like sat down to
Got
watch
around,
it."
yeah.
And I did, and I mean, yeah, it's a freaking funny movie.
Yeah.
So this is only my second time watching it, but like, what about you? Did you see it?
This is
Yeah.
also my second time watching it. I watched it, well, full time watching it. I've watched it once before, like sat down to like watch it.
Yeah.
And this was a couple years ago. But since then, I constantly catch bits and pieces of it just on TV. So
Oh, it does feel like a TV movie for sure.
this is always on like FX and stuff, which is
Yeah.
there's a lot cut out of the movie when it's on
I
cable
bet.
because obvious reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I've always like watched bits and pieces of
I can
it.
think of one scene in particular that they did not show much of on TV.
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
I think we both. Oh, maybe we're talking about the same thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
but
No, they do not show that.
I definitely know what you mean though with the whole TV thing, because so arguably my favorite comedy ever is 21 Jump Street. Like it's not the best comedy maybe out there, but I've seen it like more times than probably any other movie ever.
Yeah.
And I think the first time I saw it was like on TV, like on FX or something. And obviously like they cut a lot of the dialogue
the
out and
full
language,
effect,
you know what I
yeah.
mean, all that kind of stuff. So then when I first saw it, like the actual cut of the movie, it was like a different kind of experience, but it like made it way better. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So-
yes. 100% understand that. Yeah.
So I
There's a
feel like
lot
at that
of-
point, like, oh, go for it. Sorry.
No, because I think the first time I did see it was like on cable, so like I didn't get the full effect of this movie, which is
Right.
probably for the best because I was much younger.
You would have been fine.
Oh yeah, no, but
Honestly, there's not a lot in this movie that's all of that, like, I mean, it is, I mean, obviously, it does have its, like, raunchy moments, but it's not really, I've seen
Not
raunchier.
so, yeah, I've seen worse.
Yeah, I've
exactly,
seen
yeah.
worse. I feel like this is fine. Okay. Well, just basically, as we, like we said, we start, basically, as the synopsis reads, the veteran pop dealer is, pop dealer? Did I say pop dealer?
Yep, pop dealer.
The veteran
pop-
pot dealer is
I
Jason
like to think of
Sudeikis.
him
Oh,
as the drug dealer with the heart of gold. So
that's fair, but you don't really see the heart of gold till the end of the movie.
no, but I think I'm just like biased because I love him so much.
Oh, I think he's very funny. Yes.
Jason Sudeikis is my favorite person ever. So yeah.
Have you seen Ted Lasso?
I haven't, and I've been meaning to watch it. My parents have been watching it, and they will not shut up about this show. They
Okay.
love it. So
I have not seen it
definitely
because
need
I
to
don't have Apple TV Plus, so I have no way to watch it. But I've heard like really good things, and I know the show, and he like they've won awards for it and everything.
Yeah.
I like him a lot. Like I mean, like I said, this cast in general is just all
It's
freaking
just
funny.
great. They're amazing.
I mean, I'll just say right now, my standout is Will Poulter right here.
Oh, he's
I think
eyebrows.
which is crazy because watching him in this movie and seeing how his career has taken off since, like I would never expect, not expecting him to
Yeah.
take off, but like the direction in which his career has gone. Like some of the other roles I've seen him take are like so completely different from what you would expect seeing him in this.
Well, the first movie I saw him in was Maze Runner, and he
Oh,
was
he's in that.
he's a very like tough like character who just like he hates the main character Dylan O'Brien. So already he's like this person that you don't like in the movie.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
he's the complete opposite of this character.
Right.
So what a switch. Like,
He's definitely.
this
I
is-
mean, he was in this movie called Detroit, and he plays like this really racist ass like police officer, like
yeah.
crazy. And then he was in The Revenant, that movie with Leo DiCaprio and Tom Hardy.
I didn't see that one.
And I think wasn't he just cast in the MCU? I think he's in the Marvel universe now.
You see?
He's gonna be Adam Warlock in Guardians 3.
Okay. Well, that
Yeah.
should be
So
funny.
it's pretty cool to see him from this. But he's great in this. Like I loved him in
Oh,
this.
for sure.
But
Yeah.
anyways, but Jason Sudeikis is that veteran pop dealer. And basically,
from the sorry.
oh no.
I was gonna say that from the very beginning of this movie, you can see that there within like each of these characters, there's just those little seeds of just failure, and
Little seeds.
all of them. Okay, large. It's
They're
this
all
is growing.
basically like failing, and the only one that kind of
Yes.
seems like whatever about it is Kenny when we meet him. But
Oh,
basically, I
Kenny.
think they all just kind of have the feeling where like they're not where they should be, I guess, in life, right? Like,
Yeah.
Jason Sudeikis, he's the pot dealer that's still, just
He's an adult now, and like
he's an
everyone
adult,
else
but he's not
around
literally
him.
doing any adult things.
Yeah.
And he's not married, doesn't have kids. Like, he's just sitting at home, just dealing pot. Jennifer Aniston, she's the stripper, and you could tell she's not really satisfied with that lifestyle. Obviously, Emma Roberts is basically homeless.
Yes, she's a runaway child.
Yes,
so,
and then you have Will Poulter, who
is a
18-year-old
virgin,
kid, is a virgin.
and he's just this poor child is
I know,
just
I love the
so
way
naive, and
he's just naive. Like one of the first lines that had me cracking up so much was when he was like, "Oh, where's your mom?" He's like, "Oh, she went for a drink and like with a friend." I forgot what the line was.
it
He was
was
just
like,
saying like when is she? Oh, she's been gone like for a while. She's like, oh, how long has she been? Wait. She was like basically just saying like, how long has your mom been gone? It's like since last week.
yes, it's last, yeah, something like that. Yeah,
Something
no,
like
I had watched the first part of this movie like a week ago, and the second half this week. So
okay,
the first
okay.
half of this
Interesting
movie
way
is
to
a little
watch it.
fuzzy. The second half of this movie
It's very fresh in your mind.
clear. But
I
so it
watched
was
this
something
all
along
last
those
night.
lines. It was
Okay.
very There's
The way they
funny
delivered
clips.
in the movie was funny. I can't remember exactly how it was, but
Yeah,
just and then the way he sells it, just the naiveness is just funny. And like, yeah, I like obviously like it makes sense why he would go on to create this fake family with these four. Like they all live pretty much in the same apartment building, and they all have their own kind of like it's set up why they would have the reasons for why. Okay, let's just go along with this, even though this is a very stupid plan and probably get arrested and
that plan being they need to turn into a drug smugglers
drug
because
smuggling family. Basically.
yeah, so there is a one day he gets taken by these guys, which that whole interaction of them bringing him into the office is hilarious. He like comes in, he has a bag over his head, and these two guys are like carrying him in. He's like, hey, did anyone order 2 black guys?
I know, it's stupid. No, but well, before that happens, so basically what happens is Emma Roberts is getting her phone stolen by these guys, and then Jason Sudeikis and Will Poulter kind of like try to step in, and then basically those guys end up stealing his bag, which had like all his money and supply that he had on him. So then he's rejecting all his phone calls. He's like, I got nothing. Like I can't sell anything. So then his boss is like, hell no, you don't. So then then he shows up, and now Ed Helms is his boss, which he's very stupid in this. But he's funny. Basically, he owes him this large amount of debt.
Debited?
Yes.
Debited.
So he says, okay, how about we settle this debt this way? I need to get these drugs across the border in Mexico. You go, and then you bring them back to me. That's it. That's all you gotta do. And he's like,
and he
all
says
right.
it's just a smidge of
Just a smidge of weed. That's
It's
important.
just
He's
smidge
just a
of weed,
smidge, a smidge and a half.
a
Is
smidge
what
and a
he
half.
says.
Yeah.
Yes. So okay, fine. But then he's like, fuck, like I look like a weed dealer. Like I look like so like
There's-
how am I gonna disguise myself? Like how am I gonna make this work? He's sitting out there in front of his apartment building, and he sees this RV of this family, and they're lost in New York City, and the police is like, oh, I'll help you out. Like basically not caring that if they're breaking any kind of traffic law or whatever. And you're like,
Yeah.
that's it.
That's
They're not
what
going
it
to
is.
suspect us one bit if we go into Mexico as this traditional white like,
tourist family.
tourist
No one's going
family.
to give you a second look. They're just going to be
No.
like, oh, just keep going.
Just keep going.
There's
So-
nothing to suspect there for sure. So that is a
yeah.
very genius plan that he decided to put together. So he kind of puts together this new family of his. He gets all these failures all around him.
Basically, they're like, you all have some
they all
kind of
have
reason to do this.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, like you need money or just your life is already a mess. So
Yeah.
why not just help me smuggle some drugs across the border?
So for Emma Roberts and Jennifer Aniston, I mean, their main motivation is kind of the money, and then for Kenny or Will Poulter, he's just kind of like, okay, like he's just got nothing to do, so he's like, I'll come. So they form that family. I love the moment when Emma Roberts and Will Poulter are like discovering they're gonna be like their fake brother and sister, and he's like, I've always wanted a sister, and he hugs her. He's like, get off me, get off
Get
me.
it off me. Get it off. Yeah, just every interaction with him is just, it's great.
I mean, the next moment, even in this movie that I loved him in, was when they were going into security at the airport, and they're just letting them all pass through, and then they see Kenny, and they're like, full body check.
Full body check. Oh, that was funny. Yes.
And then, like, freaking when they all get on the airplane, he's just sitting there, like, waving like that. I'm like, oh my God, this dude.
Yeah, he's just a oblivious fool, and
Yeah.
he's this sweet boy, just sweet boy,
Yeah, very innocent.
very innocent. Does
so
not need to be here.
Right. So eventually, yes, they do get to Mexico finally. They're able to get in, everything like that. They go to the compound in which his boss told him to go to, but basically his instructions were like, go to this place and say you're picking up drugs for Pablo Chacon. Thinking, okay, like that's just the name his boss is going by down there, like Pablo Chacon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Safe to say they get there. It's a little more than a smidge of weed.
Just a bit.
It's about 2 tons of marijuana that they're gonna have to bring back across the border. A little more than a smidge and a half.
Just slightly more. That fills up the entire RV in every crevice of the RV. So that's great for them because they're like, okay, this is not what we signed up for. But hey, like this is what we're gonna do. This is our job, though. Let's just finish the job, right? Next scene, I mean, it's kind of just a joke scene, but then they get pulled over by that police officer, who the actor is Luis Guzman. I love him. I think he's so funny. Basically, I mean, that whole scene is just kind of pointless, but he's basically just like, somebody wanted to suck him off for some money, and they're just sitting there arguing about who's gonna do it, and eventually they're like, "Kenny, you do it." Yeah, and they really have to try to
convince it because it's like this gay panic situation you got going on. It's coming off a little homophobic.
Yeah, no, that the whole scene definitely not necessary, but just absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
Goose great. Yeah.
He's about to do it. He's like, "Oh wait, you mean 1,000 pesos? Oh,
pesos? Oh,
okay."
He's like, "It's less than $100, sure."
Like, there we go. Yeah. And then I don't know exactly how they run into them, but then they run into this other RV.
So as they're crossing
was at the border, right?
They have another RV, coming by, and they're like honking and trying to say hello and like trying to get their attention. Well, finally they're like, okay, fine, whatever, just give them what they want. They say hello, and it's this epitome of tourists, of a white tourist family in this RV, and they're hilarious.
You got Nick Offerman and Catherine Hahn, who I will say Catherine Hahn is also my other fucking lover in this movie, which she's been amazing everything I've seen her in recently, like WandaVision, bro.
Fabulous.
Like, did you see that they were gonna I don't know if they already had announced this beforehand, but they're gonna do another Disney Plus show about Agatha.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm so watching that.
Yes. No, she's been great. And then a few weeks ago I rewatched Step Brothers. I forgot she was in that. She's so funny in that movie too.
Yeah, she's incredible. Every joke lands when it's coming from her mouth.
Yeah, from her mouth. I know. Yeah. It's just so great. And then they basically have that little situation. So how did it happen to where they had the baby? Like that situation came about for a little bit.
So they had it was like a hard break, and then the baby or the bag of weed fell from the. And she was like, trying to cover it up, and was like, oh, it's a baby, and little baby LeBron.
What's his name? LeBron.
Yes, little baby God. LeBron with his very white family.
And he's like, oh, a little French fella, like.
French. Yeah. So, well, eventually they do almost make it past the border, but they are stopped because the drug dogs go in and barking like crazy. But right before they're about to check the RV, luckily, a whole group of people trying to flee the country are underneath the RV, and they're all just like, run.
And they're like, okay, y'all are good. And they're just like, oh, thank God.
Like, oh, thank God, yeah.
They're just
they make it past the border, somehow.
Yeah.
But they're making it through. Now it's continuing on this little cross country trip, trying to get back to Denver.
Definitely at this point of the movie, it definitely feels like one of those kind of road trip movies is what it seems like, which I'm not usually the kind that really likes road trip movies that much. Like, they do feel kind of the same, but I don't know. I feel like just because it's so funny, and with this cast and everything, I'm just like, I don't care what kind of dumb situations they're going to get into. Inevitably, they're going to get themselves in a shitty situation. Whenever things seem like they're going to go well, something's going to happen where it doesn't.
Yeah, because this is still relatively early on in the movie, and it's they've already made it past the border. They already have all the weed. What could go wrong now?
Things are just kind of going better than it should be going, or better than they're expecting. Yeah.
Which does allow them to get into some silly little instances.
Yes. Well, so something that they touched on a little bit earlier was like, so Jennifer Aniston, she was bored, so she's reading like the manual to the RV, and then as she's talking about something she sees in the RV, then basically what she's talking about happens, and the RV breaks down.
Yeah,
So they're kind of just like stranded on the side of the road, and then somehow the other RV with the other family comes in for the rescue and picks them up.
So actually, before they get to that point, I'm pretty sure. Actually, I might be wrong about this. But the point is they end up running back into that family.
Well, yeah, that's how they do it. Cause they
is that how it happens? Okay.
Yeah, because they're just. I guess they're passing them, and they see like, oh, they need help.
Like, what are the odds? Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they they run back into the family. Also, we forgot to mention one scene from the road trip part that I like. We need to talk about it because this is probably one of the most iconic scenes to come from this movie, and I often see it. Yeah, the Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls scene.
Yeah.
It is hilarious. And like every other month, I see like the video come across my timeline on Twitter or something because it's hilarious and everyone loves it.
Especially the way Will Poulter just starts rapping it.
It's so perfect. it's incredible.
Yeah.
I love it. So that whole scene. Perfect.
No, I did forget about that scene. Honestly, that is a good one.
Yeah.
Do you catch yourself doing that kind of same thing, like? Don't go. You wanna do that?
Yeah, no. I don't know the rap to that one, unfortunately.
I don't know if you have like the skill to really do it like that.
Well, not to that song, no. But put on what's the song? Determinate from Lemonade Mouth. That whole rap part in the middle. I kill that. I kill it every time.
Anyway. So they join that other family, and then they discover that Don, the dad, is a DEA agent. Of course, he is. Of course. Why?
So
why wouldn't he be, right? And then just all these situations that they're in, and then there's he's saying this, they're still holding on to that damn weed baby this whole time. And even then, and even it's like, go check on Lebanon. I mean LeBron.
Lebanon. Yeah, go check on Lebanon.
So basically they wait till the next night. Wait, no. They bring it to the auto place to fix it, but then they discover they're closed the next morning. So they're, okay, we're stuck tonight with these people. But that's also the same scene in which basically Catherine Hahn has been trying to hold this baby for a very long time. And then she's just like, fuck it, like, I'm gonna go get this baby, and they're like tugging over because obviously it's not a baby.
Because that's what you do with a baby. Obviously, you're tugging.
Right, you start tugging the baby. It just throws into the air, lands in the middle of the road, and it gets ran over. And they're like, "What the fuck?"
And the unsuspecting family, the tourist family, are like, whoa, they're going crazy because they think they've just killed this baby. Maybe. The other family's like, how do we play this off? Emma Roberts, being the smart on her feet kind of girl,
smarter than I would have come up with. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. She was like, well, thanks, Mom. Like, there goes my grade. They play it off as if it's like one of those like flower babies.
Yeah.
Like a health project. So what a quick save. Quite hilarious, though. That whole scene is she's freaking out. She's like, why is there no blood?
I know. She's like, we're basically teaching her to just, stick to like the big A or something, like anal. No, abstinence.
Abstinence. Both don't make a baby.
Baby.
Yeah.
It's really stupid. Okay. Also, this scene doesn't really add a lot to the characters, but I was cracking up as well. So then they join that family at night, and they're playing they're playing Pictionary, right?
The Pictionary sort of game where
type thing.
Try and guess.
Kenny is sitting there drawing, and their guess is for a dick, a black dick, a big black dick, black cock down. It's a skateboard. And then they get on the bus like black cock down. Like, what the hell was that? Like,
okay. So very, very clearly, this family, though sometimes their acting skills impeccable.
Yes.
Other times not so much, and they still resort back to like just like who they are, which is just like these like people who have no filter.
Yeah.
Like they don't care.
Yeah, and it's like that's fine, but you're trying to put on a
But you need
know.
to put on this face that you are a
Yes,
nice mother,
a nice, normal
and
white
a
family.
nice
You can't be
daughter
going around
and,
screaming "Black Cock down."
yeah, but just to really push it over the edge of just how terrible this is and how terrible they're doing of trying to convince everyone that they're family.
Yeah.
One of the daughter of the other family that helped them out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very clear from the moment they laid eyes on each other
Oh,
that
yeah,
her
yeah.
and Kenny are just they are
There's
in
it.
love.
It's
They're
right for each other.
They're what everyone wants, you know. But she also happens to walk into the RV at a very unfortunate time because he had just let her, say goodnight, and he wanted to kiss her. But it's Kenny, so he was not gonna kiss her.
Which I will say real quick though, the moment after that happens, I actually found to be pretty sweet when I always forget the characters' names in this. Besides, what's Jason Sudeikis' name in this? David.
David.
Yeah. So I like when he sits down and tries to talk to him, kind of like a dad would to his son. Like it's like the more time they're spending as a family, the more time they actually feel like
they
a family.
start becoming a family. Yeah, they have
so
those
I thought that
heart-to-hearts
scene was sweet, but then after that, kind of takes it to the next level. Well, actually, no. Before that, something else weird happened. So remember the swingers part, because they're like, okay, let's just like take the keys to the RV and we'll like figure all that out. They go to their tent to try to get them, and they're like awake, and then next thing you know, this whole kind of weird swingers thing happens. So they're like, we haven't tried this before. We just need to, something to
we spice up
our intimacy and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so that happened. And
they
I honestly thought
there.
I will say that with that scene, I think honestly the only thing that saved it from being completely awkward for me to watch was how committed Catherine Hahn was to pulling that scene off.
It was incredible.
She
just
totally
everything.
went for it. Yeah.
So yeah, just that whole scene. But lucky for them, they were able to make it out of there without it getting too far.
Yes, but something that did go a little too far was then in the RV, Kenny's like, "Oh, I've never kissed a girl before." Summer Roberts like, "Okay, I'll help you. Like, just learn I'll teach you how to do it."
Yeah.
And then she goes in, and Jennifer Aniston, go kiss your brother. And Jennifer Aniston, go kiss your son. That whole thing. And then the dad's just like, okay, it's a memory now. Take a picture.
He's just watching, like eating chips, where they're like both like the mother and the sister are making out with the brother.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, so it's just a very weird situation. And of course, at that moment, that girl comes in, the girl that Kenny has an interest in.
Yeah.
She comes in and witnesses that happening, and him just going back and forth between
his sister and his mom, basically, like what she thinks are his sister and his mom,
and the dad just watching and taking pictures of it.
Yeah, the dad just enjoying it all, and it's like, okay.
Yeah. If you don't know their story, and obviously you just think they're a family, this is a very, very uncomfortable thing to walk in on.
Yeah.
So this poor girl is scarred. For sure.
Understandably, yeah.
Understandably so, but luckily for them, the next day comes along and they're able to go and get their RV back and get back on the road to where they need
that's
to
all good
be
to go.
Deliver.
But before they're able to go, once they get to the auto shop, look who shows up. The real Pablo Chacon. And so he calls his boss and he's like, what the fuck? I thought you were Pablo Chacon. Like, who's this? Like, trying to get her... Like, what is going on? And she's like, oh,
what a twist.
I didn't, like, basically just like,
not a great person, but he's like, hey, don't worry about it. If you make it out alive, cool. If you don't, well, that sucks.
So then they're just trying to find their way out of that situation. Jennifer Aniston has her own kind of strip sequence. That's I wonder like how much. I'm sure she had. I'm sure she had fun shooting that.
I'm sure she did. There is not a single person in that room that is not in love with her in that moment. I'm just putting that out
I mean, even that joke where like Kenny's looking at him, he's like, stop, don't, like, that's your mother.
Yeah, he's like pulling on his pants and trying to yeah, just like even Emma Roberts,
show respect.
Yeah. But even Emma Roberts is like impressed and just like honest, like there's not a single person that is not attracted to her. So, but it works in distracting public code, because who wouldn't be distracted by that?
Right.
But
That's like
anyway.
the best plan they could come up with. I'm sure.
Exactly. So yeah, so she is able to distract him, and inevitably like almost harm him enough to like be able to escape back into
At
the
least
RV
escape that situation, right?
and skedaddle out of there.
So they
but
are
the,
back on the road, and then I don't know what happens that leads to this, but
Kenny
okay.
is
Yes, so with Kenny, right? So when they're picking up the drugs, like his mom like offers like this basket
Of
like
fruit.
of fruit, and he's like, okay, I gotta take it. I don't know how it is that the fruit basket fell on the bus on the RV.
okay, so while they're trying to get away, Kenny is the one driving the vehicle. Who Kenny does not know how to drive.
Oh, he was driving.
He
them
does
out of
not know how
there.
to drive an RV
Yeah,
either.
yeah.
So he is zooming out of there. He is crushing the car of Pablo Chacon, which is good for that because he can't escape after that. But he's trying to get out of there. He's also trying to fight with David for the wheel of the car because they are now in like traffic area.
They're on the
like, where
highway,
they're
like, trying
yeah,
to-
there's other cars there, and they're trying to like fight over the wheel and like trying to do that. Well, they end up driving over and into like a ditch area, and it just so happens that in that moment when they were swerving
When
off
they were
the road,
yeah,
basket falls over. This giant tarantula
yeah.
climbs up his
Climbs
leg
right up his nuts and bites it.
and ouch.
Ow.
So he is screaming. He runs out of that RV. And they're all like, okay, well, you got to show us, buddy. You can't, like, we can't help you if we don't know what's wrong. Drops his pants.
Oh.
And this is a scene that would not be shown
Yes, on TV.
cable television.
So I'm sure you're watching this on TV the first time. You're not really understanding what's happening, but you get a few quick, frames of, of how bad it looks down there.
Oh, it's awful.
And it's bad. It's very bad, and he passes
very,
out.
very bad.
Yeah.
He's like, Kenny's fine. What are you talking about? And he's
Yeah.
like,
yeah.
which also he ends up being. What does he say? He's like, he's probably dead. If he's dead, we're leaving him here. Like,
Oh, yeah.
he just wants to get back on the road.
Especially because his boss was like, you need to get here. Like, I mean, the thing is, because of what happened, them staying overnight, they're late in bringing back the drugs. So it's like, okay, we need to go like now. We need to be on our way. And they're like,
Yeah.
and he's just slowing us down to this point. Like, just leave him in the hospital. Let's go.
Yeah. So eventually, she's like, no, like we have to take him to the hospital. This poor child. We can't just leave him to
Leave
die.
him here. Yeah.
Well, eventually, so she's like, okay, fine. So we'll take him to the hospital. They're at the hospital. He gets back in contact with his boss, and he's like, "You're still alive, dude?
Yeah.
How did you do that?"
Do that.
But he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm still alive. No thanks to you. So like, let's talk about more payment because I could have died,
Right.
and you didn't tell me about any of this. You did not warn me. I could have been a little bit more prepared, but nothing from you." So he's like, "All right, sure, $500,000. Half a million?
Yeah, it was $500,000.
$500,000? Okay.
Yeah.
$500,000 extra on top of the payment that they already agreed on. So he's like, okay, cool. We're good now. He's like, but you got to get it here by midnight.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the deal's off. So he is ready to just leave Kenny and go. He's like, we need to get out of here right now. But he's also not sharing the information with the family that he is getting even more money on top.
He's getting
of
paid
that.
all that much, right?
Exactly. So, he still has the selfish tendencies.
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah, still does. So then they're like, okay, while we wait for him, they're gonna wait out at that some kind of
RV
kind
park,
of park
which
or
also
whatever.
happens. There's a carnival.
Yeah, there's a
Right.
carnival going on there. What did you think of that whole Scotty bit? That kid that wants to date Emma Roberts.
Annoying as hell, but still such an iconic scene because like the whole no regrets. Is it no? Yeah,
Yeah,
no regrets. No regrets.
No regrets has been seen.
Tattoo.
Yeah, I've seen
He's
that
like,
a lot.
really? None? Not even a single letter?
Not even a single letter.
Oh god,
Yeah.
that's another scene that like constantly pops up on my timeline on Twitter.
Yeah.
There's several things in this movie that just make it so iconic. But yeah.
Yeah, know what I'm saying?
No, I'm saying
Yeah.
just the whole interaction with him. He also is definitely necessary to this plot to really just push them in that direction of becoming those like parental figures for Casey.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, yeah.
So he needs to be there because all of a sudden now they're like, well, like no, like you
They
can't like
become, like,
let's
this
have a talk with
protective-
this boy. And
Yeah,
they're
like, let's
becoming
sit 'em down.
protective parents By the time she gets back home, you know, they're like, well, why were you so late? Like, we were worried sick. You could have been dead in a ditch and like all this stuff.
Yeah.
And even she has that moment where she starts feeling like, I have a family who actually cares about me now. Because before she didn't.
Yeah.
She was a runaway, and clearly they don't go too much into it, but by the looks of it, it looks like her family just didn't care about her too much, which is why she ran away.
They don't really go specific on that, but
yeah,
it's
but
kind of what you get. Yeah.
But yeah, so definitely, he definitely is necessary to the plot. He's annoying as hell, but also completely hilarious. So
I mean, I probably could have done without it, if I'm being honest, but I don't think it like hurts it much that the whole Scotty. I think it's just like I liked it at first, and then the more he kept just showing up towards those scenes, I was just kind of like, okay, I get your purpose. You can go.
No, I for sure I do get that, but
it is kind of. I mean, a lot of people do like go back to those scenes a lot. Like I have seen them pop up before and stuff. Yeah. So clearly, like, yeah, it is a funny part. It's just like
it sticks out. It's funny.
It adds on to the ridiculousness of it all.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so.
But yeah,
before they do show
role.
up, yeah. So they start taking on more of this parenting role, and beyond that, they start, you know, forming a bit more of a relationship with each other, Rose and David. But it was kind of hinted at several times throughout the movie that he had originally like kind of had a thing for her, but soon realized like, all right, she's not even worth it.
Well, also too, I mean, we don't have to retell the whole story, but they tell like.
They tell like their love story,
how they met, and you can tell by the way they tell it that's actually how they met.
He truly felt that, like he truly felt like he was
did
like,
truly feel it. Yeah,
really like this woman. I want to be with her.
So there's some truth in like that kind of attraction that he had at one point,
and it's very clearly there, that attraction between the two of them, and it is now bubbling up, and they are now living in this sort of domestic bliss of some sort with like living in this RV and like having this family and like having that moment with like Casey, and you know, having moments before with Kenny and like those like father-son bonding moments, and now they're having these moments together, and like they're realizing like maybe we could be a little bit more. I think they're getting a little bit lost in that moment, like I said before, like that domestic bliss. It kind of starts convincing them that, you know, maybe we could have this if we really tried. And they almost have a moment before Casey does return home.
Yes, but that unfortunately does not last very long, at least in the moment, because then he's just trying to get them to convince again that they need to go. Oh, well, Kenny. Okay, well, first of all, Kenny's ready to go, but they like take him out in the wheelchair, and then he's just like trying to get them out as soon as possible. Like Kenny's falling out the wheelchair, like, and he's just like not caring. Clearly, he's just like, we just need to go. Then basically opens up, be like, well, I need to get there because I have 500,000 waiting for me or whatever. And then he's like, 500,000.
He lets it slip.
He lets it slip.
And suddenly everyone's like, okay, well, that's not the type of money that we were promised.
We were promised by you.
Start explaining yourself, because like if we were not here, you would not have gotten this far. You know, without us, this whole plan, like it wouldn't have happened. So why are we not getting? So she's like, well, you're getting paid this much, and then Kenny's like, y'all are getting paid?
I know. I love that line so much, because he's like, he's like making 500,000. He's like, what? I'm only making 30,000. What? I'm only making 1,000. You're like, you're getting paid?
You get paid? Poor Kenny.
Now that I'm saying it, reminds me of the line in Avenger in Infinity War when he's like, where's Gamora? And then like,
I'll do you one better. Who's Gamora?
I'll do you one better. Why is Gamora?
I love that scene. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Love Drax. But yeah. So it's just, again, Kenny is just a great way to just kind of like mellow out the mood of this. Like, it's starting to, the tension is rising clearly. So he's there to kind of release that a little bit. But yeah, so eventually they're all like, they stick together and they're like, well, no, screw you, dude. We're not going with you. Have fun on your own. Like, you're not paying us what we should be paid. So, you know, so they basically go on strike. The family goes on strike.
Yeah. It's a relatively quick strike, though. I mean,
it doesn't last very long, because he
it really does not last long at all.
He eventually feels that guilt. It just so happens that the "Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls" comes on the radio, and he's like, "Damn it!" Like, he has a conscience after all. He cares
about
them.
Yeah.
So he goes back for them, And he's like you said, it doesn't take very long to convince them to join him back, because at the end of the day, they're all shitty people and they all know that. Well, except for Kenny.
I would say, yeah.
But Kenny just goes along with whatever else. He's just happy to be there, you know.
Yeah. He's happy to be doing something exciting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it doesn't take them long to reconcile and decide to take that drive.
Basically, and I mean, at that point, you've basically reached the climax. So then, I mean, the whole drug storyline finally comes together. Like, Pablo Chacon shows up, and then the other family finds out basically everything, because she's like, I saw them do this and that, and blah, 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 blah. And then Kenny's just like, no, this is what's going on. Like, we're like posing as a family, we're smuggling some drugs and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And they're just like, fuck, we're gonna be in trouble, because obviously, like, he's the DEA. Yeah, and all this stuff. But then
it's a very sticky situation that they are now in. But it just so happens that they don't really have time to delve into that really and try and come up with more excuses about it, because Pablo Chacon shows up and is like, hey, give me my stuff,
Yeah.
Starts threatening the family. But here comes Don to save the day.
Dude, Don,
what a man.
Because he's talking about earlier in the movie, like, he's on agent, but he's been on break for a little bit. Like, he might be kind of a little out of it, in terms of his skills or whatnot.
He's a little rusty. Yeah.
This man turns to fucking John Wick and starts, like, everything.
All with a traveler's mug.
Yeah.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. So iconic.
It's good stuff. But basically, I mean, none of that really matters. The whole point of, I feel like, all of that's just because he's saying, like, oh, like, don't kill them, like, you just need to kill me, like, and he's just describing how much he cares and like what he knows is about all of them that like makes him feel attached to them.
It's the turn of the movie where all the emotions really just like come to a peak, where everyone is like, you know what, at the end of the day, we're not real family, but at this point, after everything you've done for me, I love you like if you were my real family.
You were my family, right.
So they have a beautiful little moment there. And
so that's really what matters. That's where the heart of the movie really is.
Yeah, and then they play a game of hot potato with a gun, and then Pablo Chacon gets shot. So it's a very quick, what is the word I'm looking for? Climax. I guess.
I mean, because like
conclusion.
Conclusion, right? Yeah, because
to his
honestly,
storyline.
Yeah, honestly, because none of that really matters. Like the whole point
never
of that
really
was just,
mattered.
None of that. The whole point of that was just to kind of bring them together emotionally and
add a little bit of sauce to the movie.
Right, exactly. So
yes, that was the
as
point
you said,
of that.
Pablo Chacon gets caught. He goes back to his boss Brad, and Brad basically double crosses him. But he's like, "Psych, we double crossing you." All the DEA agents come in. They arrest Brad as well, so he's done. Everything's good now. And they're like, well, you got to go to witness protection for 6 months. Be like, oh, just me? Oh, and also like all the other witnesses.
All the witnesses.
That were there.
So they finally get to live out that life.
That
of,
family
like,
kind of
being a family, which like is cute and all, but also they definitely stole 2 children.
Oh yeah.
At the end of the day, those are still children who belong to.
Well, to be fair,
people.
Kenny's 18.
That's true. Okay, yeah.
And I'm going to assume Emma Roberts, and I would assume that she's older than him. So they're both adults. So it's kind of like they can decide, I guess.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know what I mean?
But but once again, they live in that domestic bliss that they were, starting to get a taste of and realize that they actually loved it. And they get to be that beautiful family. Once again, it is a happy ending for everyone. Kenny grew as a person.
Yes.
Don and his wife, the character name I cannot think of.
I don't know it.
They have been able to re-spark their romance. They all live together as one happy family. They have a nice little weed garden in their back.
Oh yeah.
In their backyard. Everything about it is perfect, and it's just nicely tied up with a ribbon
and then
on top.
The beautiful cherry on top. I don't care how bad the movie is, good or bad. I fucking love bloopers.
It was awesome. Which also, that reminds me of another line that I missed with the Scotty P, where after because he was trying to like come on to Casey, and Rose was like, "Don't you dare touch her! Like, get away from her!" And then ends up having to punch him in the face.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He gets back up and he says, "You're an aggressive woman," and he runs
Runs away.
Yeah. So I could not stop laughing when he said that. But we get a whole line of bloopers of him trying to come up with like one-liners.
Like different ways to because I'm sure with all these kind of different deliveries of jokes, like they shoot like probably so many, and they're just like, let's just pick whatever the funniest one is.
I'm sure that so many of this is just unscripted. So much of this movie is
some of it's probably improv.
Yeah. I mean, because these are all really great comedians, you know.
Yeah.
Also enjoyed the bloopers.
Yes, I love the bloopers. My favorite, honestly, I think even with all that heart in the story, I think kind of the sweetest moment in this whole movie was the blooper with Jennifer Aniston in the RV.
That was,
and they're like, let's play the song, and it's the Friends theme song. And she's like, oh my god.
She's like, yep, that's good.
That's it.
That's what I was gonna mention. Yeah, that was my favorite part from the bloopers. But just it was definitely an enjoyable movie.
For sure.
I really I could watch this movie.
I think I would say the only person that maybe didn't have that much of a comedic presence probably Emma Roberts, but I'm not really looking for her. Like, I don't think that was the purpose of her character, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
She didn't really need to give a lot of comedy to make her character work. Like, I thought it worked fine. But everyone else, I thought, like, did amazing with their comedy. I mean, Jennifer Aniston, I think, like, since Friends has shown that she could do comedy. Like, I think she's funny on that show. Jason Sudeikis is obviously comedian.
Man.
And then Nick Offerman, I've never seen Parks and Rec, but I'm pretty sure he's on that, right?
Yes, he is. Yeah. I've never seen it either, but I've seen clips from it, and what I have seen, he's hilarious. So.
Yeah, and Kevin
because
Hahn,
it's such dry humor.
Yes, the dry humor works well, and then I mean Ed Helms too. I mean he's just he's just whatever. Mm-hmm. But a lot of funny people, and they do make a lot of comedy out of it, and I think it makes sense. Like the director of this doing Dodgeball, which I think is another funny movie. It's like I think he's pretty solid at making comedy work, and especially when you have a cast like this, like that's. Yeah, like it works.
It really works. Yeah,
it works.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it makes me laugh throughout. Like there's never really too many dull moments in this movie. I'm constantly laughing at it.
Yeah.
Again, like I love the chemistry within the whole, like all the characters and how they work well together, but they also like don't. But that's the beauty of it, and just everything about it. It's very stupid. It's a stupid movie, but it's also really enjoyable. Like I could sit there and watch it again after this because it's funny. It's iconic.
It's definitely a rewatchable comedy for sure.
Yes.
I think.
Yeah.
I will say probably my only other major issue I had with this was just, I mean, the plot itself is pretty pointless, right? Like. It's not really a point to it being there, like the whole actual like Pablo Chacon stuff. Like, thankfully, those scenes, like there's not a lot of them, and when they do focus on it, they are very quick. But when they do happen, it's just kind of like, okay, like I'm just kind of waiting for it to move on,
to move past. Okay, yeah. I assume.
But like I said, but thankfully, it is not something that happens a lot. Like most of the focus is on them as a family, and all the crazy situations they end up in, which I think is pretty funny. And like I said, as a comedy, I think it works. Like, and especially like you have all these people, like they're just saying and doing all these things that have me cracking up the entire time. So like, yeah, I'm on board with it. Like I really enjoyed this. It's a really fun time, and like I just think it was sweet, like just actually seeing them like become like that family. You know what I mean? Like it was kind of sweet. Like you know, good time. Yeah. I really enjoyed this. So
crazy family.
Did you have any other final thoughts?
Definitely forgot to write a pun for this one.
I forgot we were still doing that.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think this is gonna work out right. I'm good with puns unless I'm put on the spot, and then I'm suddenly not very good with puns.
Okay, I will definitely try to remind you to do that then ahead of time.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, I mean they're just they're a wacky family. But I love them. They remind me of my own.
Oh.
Not really.
You're just like the Millers.
Yep. Yeah. Not at all, but crazy family. And we got that much. Yeah.
That's close enough. Anyways, so all right. So what would you rate this movie?
I'm gonna give this movie a solid 7 out of 10.
7? Okay. I was thinking about it for a little bit. I think for the time being, I'm also gonna go with a 7, but it's a very high 7.
Yeah.
Just because it is like definitely a rewatchable comedy. Like I could definitely like put this. I feel like I could put this on whenever and like get or enjoy a lot out of it. So I mean, I might it might go up in my head at some point, but right now I'll stick with a 7 too. So we can say cheers to that.
Cheers.
No, yeah, I definitely enjoy a lot of this. Really fun movie, and I'm glad we talked about it. So,
me too.
Yeah. So let's to wrap up the show today. One more thing I forgot to notice earlier. You know another movie Will Poulter was in?
What?
Midsummer.
Oh, I still have yet to see it.
Oh, you haven't seen that?
I know, and I like that. This is literally right up my alley.
We're doing
and
that.
Ari Aster.
Soon.
I mean, I loved Hereditary, and I need to watch it. I absolutely.
I honestly
need to
had no
watch it.
idea you haven't seen it yet.
I have been meaning to watch it for so long, and I just keep forgetting. And you don't understand how many times like people are like mention it, and I'm like, damn it, I forgot. Like I gotta watch it.
We will be doing an episode on that very, very soon because I had.
Okay, good.
I mean, I saw it in theaters when it came out, but I forgot I didn't see it with you. I saw it with my sister and Marie, but yeah, okay.
I was actually, I think I was supposed to see it with you, but it something came up, and then I think I was supposed to see it with Brianna too, and then something came up with that, so I just like never got around to it.
Yeah, because we saw Hereditary together.
Yes, we
I
did.
remember that, but
But
yeah, I had no idea. Okay, we will definitely talk about Midsummer soon, because yes, that would be good. Anyways, so just want to point that out. But to wrap up the show for sure. But next week's movie, before we get to Midsummer and all of that, Martha,
I'm so excited.
Say what the movie is.
We're watching the Goofy movie, one of the most iconic Disney movies, if I do say so myself. I'm just saying, Eye to Eye, the most underrated Disney song ever. So yeah.
I don't know if I'm gonna go as far to say it's the iconic Disney movie, but I do like it. But we'll get into that. We'll get into that next week. So a Goofy movie is streaming on Disney Plus, obviously. So if you have not seen it or you want to give it a rewatch, check it out on there before the episode next week. What are the notes we got here? Oh yes, so check us out. Keep checking us out. We're on all audio streaming platforms. So if you're on Spotify, if you're on Apple, all that stuff, listen to us on there. You can also check us out on YouTube. Subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. Inner Wider Screen Podcast on there. And then social medias. Check us on the Twitter, on the Instagram, and on the TikTok. Inner Wider Screen. Same username for all of them. We'll update y'all on there with whatever. So with that being said, Martha, you have any last notes before we head off for the week? Besides moving your fingers around a lot.
Drug smuggling is dangerous. Don't do it.
Please do not try to be like the Millers.
You can't do it unless you're white.
Maybe definitely if you're white, you might have a chance. If not, I would recommend against it. But
yeah, definitely not.
All right. Well, we'll see y'all next time.
Bye.